Okay.
Alrighty.
I mean, you might have been there. You technically would have counted as an impartial judge, right?
What?
Hmm?
Oh, wait, has something happened between you? Okay, hold on. Game on pause. What's going on between Jack and Josh? Jack and Josh went up a hill? What the?
Wait, what did I do?
Josham Nosham for fun.
What?
What?
What did I miss? What's happening?
I think, Josh. Point on the doll where the pad bear touched you.
I love the fact that I pressed stop recording and clicked start recording again. Only
What
for
you
it to go
telling
into
me?
this brand new topic
Really?
that is almost just as bad but doesn't need editing.
But what you're telling me is that you have actually kept most of this. That is important information. I want it later.
What I am saying is that previous part about the thing, that's its own tiny separate recording now. In case I do decide to do just a highlight reel of bullshit.
Wait, when does this recording? I'm assuming this recording starts on when I asked Josh on the doll where the pad bear.
No, this recording started on Jack saying, "Well, yes, me and you would know about it" to Josh.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, did I do it? Did I do a fucking Runeterra worthy start? Was that the chaos you expected, Lee? Please rate on this sheet out of 10, please. This may be used against you in court. Don't question it.
It gets free
I
cafes
would like
out
to
of
say
5.
the moment that I get there in person and me and Jack are around Lee in person, Lee is just gonna shoot themselves.
You're coming in person?
Okay.
Better come person, boy.
I'm sorry. I need to find the GIF again. Sorry, where is it?
Again. The GIF
Oh,
again.
Yes, the GIF again.
Well, I mean, you are going to go and buy Spelljammers, so there you go.
Here we go. In D&D chat, this is just you, Rebecca, and Santa combined into one on Tuesdays.
Yeah, but which one's which? This is important.
I think we're
Jack's
all
obviously in the middle.
Yeah, I think we're all Dr. Livesley, to be honest, in this one.
That's fair.
You're free of Dr. Livesley. The rest of everyone is the guy on the right, and it's just me on the left, just having a mental breakdown. Anyway, greetings everyone, and welcome back to the Dark Tides of Runeterra.
God, have you actually started recording?
Yes.
Damn it! I had another zinger lined up.
God damn.
Gotta save it now.
Of course.
Sing about that.
Don't want to run out of zingers, my chingers.
I mean, otherwise the bad taste might linger.
We're not starting this again. We've had so many jokes that are just take a word and rhyme.
We're not gonna be
It's just because we're all a bunch of mingers.
That's it. Offer up your hand. I'm
Blingers.
taking several fingers.
I did.
I mean, I suppose we deserve it. We keep lining off these ringers.
God, somebody kill them now!
I mean, if you say it phonetically, we could also include gingers.
I mean, to be fair, you really should consider a career in music, as you're clearly a singer.
Let's not before the memory lingers.
Shut up, you dink.
Okay. Alrighty. Goodbye, people. Farewell. I love you all.
He's off to
See
see
what you have
Dingus.
done, Jack. See what you have done, Lee. The both
And
of
now,
you.
I am the kinger.
Yeah, congratulations. Yep.
You are both Doombringers.
Yeah, just give me a second. I love you all, and just goodbye.
You can't leave. You're too much of a clinger.
So last time on the Dark Tides of Runeterra.
Right, fucking chucking Kuiper off.
That was money. That would have
been
been a jingle.
Also, just to finish it off, so we can say we've done the alphabet A to Z, can someone go to Burger King and get me a Tower Zinger?
Isn't that what it started with?
I know, we've come full circle.
I don't. No more. We're done. The circle's been completed. We're fucking done. No more.
The circle is completed. We have formed the ringer.
I feel like we need to
If
just.
it wasn't for the fact that I had the utmost respect for you, Zach, I would walk over and attack you.
I feel like we need to just let Santa enter that little special club of therapy that Kai's also joined from just the hatred of these rhyming jokes.
Can't help it. They are my
Well, you know what?
fucking lifeblood.
I would love that. I don't get to talk to Kai enough, and he's a sweet freaking individual.
So, last time on the Dark Tides of Runeterra, he ended up fighting off some trolls, including the one with a special stick which kind of blew up thanks to Kuiper, forming a large blackened ice sculpture. Also, the house collapsed, but everyone managed to get out of that in time. I do need to roll to see if that does continue on and kind of destroy some of the tunnels.
I just kind of want to state Fright's looking at the sculpture, looks over at Kuiper, looks back to the sculpture. You know, I've seen better, to be honest.
I may have gotten a little carried away.
Well, they say art is different per individual, and if this is a reflection of your true self, well,
I hope not. I am terrible at art.
I wasn't going to say anything, but looking at this sculpture, I have to agree.
So, what's next? What did you find down there?
I believe
Alekxander?
Hi. Didn't find very much down there. To be honest, it's not particularly anything of our interest, I don't think.
So, what next?
Alari will just. Or is it Delris that she was at the moment? I forget. It was
think it was
Alari.
Alari.
It was Alari.
Yeah. I have no idea.
It was Alari. She was slinging spells. Alari will pipe up and just. I mean, unless you count the giant egg.
What giant
Count
egg?
the giant
What?
egg.
A giant egg.
The giant egg?
Why are we talking about a giant egg all of a sudden? What the hell?
You asked
Yes,
what
there was an egg down there, but it wasn't that important.
I mean, I haven't had breakfast today, so it could be important.
It's night. Oh, yeah. That's a good point.
It's night. I mean, sure, yes. Anytime
You never
after
had
midnight
breakfast
or
for
the
dinner.
morning. Yeah, breakfast for dinner.
But,
Victor,
I mean, I doubt you'll be able to eat the egg. It's ice and a god or a demigod.
I mean,
Hold
yes,
the
there was
finger
a
up
god
like,
in there, but we
what?
might as well just forget about it. We can't do anything with it.
Ineva, the one of the spiritual gods of the Freljord.
Okay.
Ah, religion. Great. Wonderful. Absolutely magnificent. There's only one god and one individual that you should ever kiss the ass of, and that's me, so I'm done with this conversation.
To get offended, but I absolutely cannot get mad at the end of that sentence. Alexander wasn't ready for that plot twist.
Fair enough.
Yes, alright. Yes, there is a god in the egg down there, but Alexander is religiously bound to ignore the shit out of it, so go move on.
I mean, given it was
Wonderful.
your god that did that to her.
Yes, it was my god that did it. That's why I'm religiously bound to ignore the shit out of it. Alright. Here we go.
Well, at least we didn't piss off whatever it is.
Actually, I think them two had a pretty long and possibly useful conversation, but I figured that was her to say, not me.
Ah, wonderful. Then it's probably pissed at all of us now.
Oddly, she seemed the calmer of the group.
I'm to say, not really her style.
Although she did say that she had a run-in with a more powerful being. That's what weakened her before the Volleybird took her out.
Interesting.
Some
Shall we get a move on?
I think that'd be best. What are we doing with the egg?
Leaving it.
Trust me, it's too big for us to carry.
Then why are we still talking about it?
Because your legs aren't moving.
Honestly, out of character, I thought we were walking and talking.
I did as well.
Just Alekxander and freaking Potoo, not Alekxander, Fright and Potoo's just
Again,
walking away, yelling at them as they were.
Okay.
I have forgotten the entire purpose of why we're here in this run-down ruins of a town. What was the purpose of us coming here?
It was just an
Passing
easy landing
through.
space for the Citadel.
One at a time. All three of you explaining just hit me in the ears. Alekxander, you were the loudest. What is the reason?
It was an easy landing space to get to the Frostguard Citadel.
Ah, okay, wonderful. So we're not going back to the boat then, right? We're going to the Citadel.
We're going to the Citadel, and we will return to the boat once we have wife.
So,
Brilliant, wonderful.
given it is nighttime, are you wanting to just carry on through the night, or are you stopping to rest?
How
God,
far
no,
away
we should at least-
How far away is the founding village from here? We're going to
15
pass through
feet.
there too. That's
I
my
would like
line.
to- I would like to say, during the combat with the trolls, it was a blizzard outside.
That too.
So I would just like to state perhaps we should stay the night.
You
Maybe
want to
here
stay
on
the
the
night
boat.
near that freezing pile of
No,
whatever.
no, I would like to stay the night on the boat with a warm fire and some alcohol in my hands. Also, someplace where the trolls don't have a patrol going around,
Okay.
or
Let me
worse
just
things.
let me just take you back to this map just quickly,
That is so much more pleasant of an idea.
because you would
Yeah.
know that it took you pretty much a day to get from the boat to here.
Oh, the boat is not okay. I was not here when we arrived to the town, so I didn't know that the town and the boat aren't. So Fright would not have said that. I apologize.
Now, you did the usual thing of just landing the boat at the water's edge and then walking up.
Okay.
Let us look for somewhere to take camp. I don't think we really brought the sort of camping supplies to just stay out in the middle of a blizzard.
So,
Myself and Potoo found a nice tower. It
Yeah, I
should
was
be
about to
far
say.
enough away from that thing.
this one's
Points to the ice.
this one's destroyed. This building. That's the one that you're all fighting in. So you do have a few other ones, but the one that does seem the most structurally sound, as said, is the one that Kuiper has pointed out.
I say
Alexander
the
is
cold.
not going to lie. Alexander didn't want to stay so near to the egg, but I suppose needs are a must, yes.
Is there a reason you don't want to stay? A threat to your existence if we stay near the egg?
It is not a threat to my existence. Maybe other things.
Fair, fair.
At least I don't
And
think
that,
that.
though. I was going to say, from the looks of things, the trolls might not have come directly from the Citadel. He kind of points off in the direction that the trolls came from. Also, the direction that the footprints were leading to. Which, by the way, looking at the troll footprints and the footprints he had found before, are they the same?
Yes, they are.
Okay. Yes. By the looks of it, they come here often. I don't mind staying in the tower, but those of you that are magic casters, any of you happen to have access to some form of protected shelter of the illusionary kind? Keep the eyes of the prying off of us?
Sure.
Oh, wonderful. You are a creature of many talents. Somebody
Oh,
rolled a nat 1 on their hit die. Just
Alright.
want to point that out. Somebody rolled a nat 1 on their hit die.
Oof. So
Nah.
you're all heading to the tower to have a rest?
Yeah, Fright will at least, if that's where everybody else is going. The cold doesn't bother him, but he still needs to some degree, rest up, regain some of his extended skills, and he won't say no to having a nice sit down.
Okay. Are the rest of you fine with this?
Yes.
Okay.
No
Sounds good.
objections.
Yep.
So, as you all head there to rest, are you doing any watches? Or are you preparing
of them.
anything to help hide yourself?
Fright doesn't need to sleep, and I believe the porcelain lady doesn't either, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, she doesn't sleep at all.
And so I don't mind sharing watch with her or Kuiper, who I think also doesn't need to sleep, right? Or does Kuiper sleep? I don't remember.
No.
Okay. I think Fright would mind sharing watch with the people that don't require sleep.
Okay. So, for those that do need to sleep, you might just get things set up. Manage to get yourself off to sleep. I just realized that Penfold's last name has changed to Penfold Martinez.
Oh,
Sorry. But I do need to roll. I found a chart and I want to roll.
is it a weather roll?
No, it's not a weather roll.
Then it's not worth it.
It's a 1d100 chart of long rest events.
Fun.
Oh, yeah.
Just to spice things up a bit. And you know what? This kind of works. Oh god. Can I just...
Is it that bad?
No, the one I rolled is fine. It's the ones that surround it that just kind of took me by surprise.
Well, they'll tell us, just do the thing.
Alright,
Gotta keep it secret for when it happens, boy.
that is fair. So, those of you who are awake, you hear some noises in the night, like a voice. Just kind of muttering to itself. Just, you can't really tell what it's saying at this distance. But as it gets closer, the voice is becoming a bit clearer. So, those who are still awake,
Mm.
make me some perceptions, please.
Some bitch.
Okay.
That is a 15 for Fright.
Okay. So, Alekxander, no, you're still fast asleep. Actually, yeah, those who are asleep can roll it with disadvantage. So, Mariah, you can roll with disadvantage.
Absolutely 100% convinced it's Alari and she won't shut up.
Yeah, you're not getting anything out of there, Mariah. However, those who are still awake, so Kuiper, Poison Lady, and Fright,
Yeah.
the voice starts to become a bit more legible. As you hear the voice of someone just muttering to themselves, just, the old god is angry. The old god must be pleased. I know how to please him. I know what he
Oh my.
wants. And you hear the
Fright.
crunching of snow.
Looking outside.
Mhm.
Does Fright see anyone?
You see a huddled over figure walking towards the frozen lake.
Fred looks back at the others. I'm never one against a fine introduction.
Alari, you're still being too loud.
Fright will start walking towards the old man.
Okay.
If the others want to join him, they can. But
Of course, the lady will kind of just step outside a few feet away from the door.
Kuiper will just stand watch.
Okay. Are you being quiet in this, or
not quiet, but also not to any degree intimidating. In fact, Fright has taken a match out and he is lighting up his pipe, going to kind of puff on it for a couple seconds as he walks. He does have hoof prints, so I imagine he does have hooves, so I imagine it would sound very different from like boots and stuff. But as Fright walks over, kind of looks at the old man. Hello there.
the figure will just kind of spin on their heels towards you. And at first, just in the flickering light, it does just look like a disheveled man wrapped in a fur cloak. And then as you get a bit closer, you realize that might not be a cloak. He may actually have fur on him. And his features seem a lot more Ursine. But he is not an Ursine himself. He seems to be trapped in a halfway point. He just looks at the fire, looks at you. Fire. Yes, that will do. Fire. Yes, that will help
What
the
do
old
you
god.
what do you require fire for?
To appease the old god. To appease the thousand pierced.
Ah, I am not as enlightened on the faiths of these lands as you are. Who is the thousand pierced, might I ask?
The volley. The thousand pierced bear.
Porcelain lady will kind of walk over. Where are we here? What is happening?
Oh, my friend here, Mr. Worshipper of the Thousand Pierced here, is seeking to appease his god, hoping for fire. What is the purpose of fire? Don't be afraid. You're talking to a Noxian. We love fire. The only people that love fire more than us are people that are burned by it.
The fire is to prevent the sister from awakening. The one who slumbers below.
Oh, are
You
you
know what?
talking
It's
about?
the egg. The
Yes,
egg.
yes, the
Egg.
egg thing. Yeah,
I
I was
feel like
wondering
this is.
about.
I feel like this is a moment for like the porcelain lady. It's like her and Fright are standing right next to each other. They're both like thinking about it for a second. Oh, the egg.
Yeah, yeah. Kind of looks over at the individual. You're talking about the egg thing, yes?
Who did I hear just scream then, like really muffled into the
That
mic?
dogs. That's my dogs. They heard somebody moving in here and they started freaking out.
No, I mean, like, quite literally, it sounded like someone with their mouth, hand over their mouth just went, "Ugh!"
Oh, maybe someone did. I don't know. Somebody get kidnapped?
Well,
So,
one person down.
he looks at you.
Oof.
Yes, the thousand pierced. He wants me to do this act, and then he will
Ooh.
gift me generously food to survive the
What-
winter.
Food to survive the winter. Which act is that, by the way?
To destroy the egg.
You know, I can
Oh,
also give you gifts to survive the winter if you don't destroy the egg, and it won't cost you anything.
oh, but he's wanting sweet substance, food, delicious food, and that size of an egg would make a very nice omelet.
Yes, but I don't think the fire would cook it, dear. I think the fire would more of
Mm.
fizzle out. before the egg even
I've
got started.
You mentioned that, and it's now made me recall. I've heard people in Ionia eat eggs raw over noodles. Seen it myself. Never tasted it, but although I did kill a man that was tasting it.
He's
But we'll talk. That's a conversation for later.
gonna
You
turn
know,
again and just walk towards the lake. Just
sir, please. May we walk hand in hand? And she's gonna put her hand out.
sorry, I just saw that. He'll look to you. Right. If you want to help, you can get a big rock or something. Help break this ice, so I can get
No,
access.
oh dear, I will hand in hand take you to where there is an entrance. Just take my hand.
He's gonna insert you. You can show me the way. Okay. And he just reaches for the hand. Probably a bit too
Black
hastily.
slime is gonna take over his hand, and his hand is gonna start to rot away.
Yeah, and
Yes, dear.
as soon as he does, and the hand just starts to decay and melt and just kind of fall apart.
I will show you the way.
That was a perfectly good hand. Why'd you have to go and do that?
Oh, and she takes her hand away. The rest of him will follow. It'll only take about an hour.
Alekxander and Mariah, you two can roll me normal perceptions this time, as this guy just starts to scream.
That's
this
good.
is-
I'm a neutral
Damn
party
it!
on this. This is your fault, not mine.
That's fine. I'll take blame for this one, dear. But at the same time, I
Oh,
been around long enough. I don't always agree with other people's methods.
Potoo, since you're back, you can also roll me a perception.
Okay.
If you catch my drift, I think we have to intervene here. If we let him
I
get
don't
to that
personally,
egg, we may never get to see the show fully unfold.
Alekxander, do you
Well,
not
I
have any
highly
lookies you could use?
That's fair. Lum out.
I highly doubt he could.
Perception. Fuck off.
What was that, Austin?
I highly doubt he could have done anything to the ice.
Oh,
Uh,
I
Also, I highly
do.
doubt he could have done anything to the egg.
Potoo,
No,
you're
I
walking
do
up to
as well.
you're walking up to screams. As those that are watching this scene outside, watch this guy as he's slowly, the flesh is just slowly starting to peel away. He just crawls over to the ice and just starts to hammer at it, trying to get underneath it. My time is limited. Must appease before I go see him myself.
Oh, you've got to give it to a man with dedication.
Man
Oh
of
well, I've lost
dedication.
interest in this. You can take over or whatever. Kuiper, you happen to have any tea?
The porcelain lady is going to kneel down, and take her sword, and she is going to slowly push it through him, as the sword absorbs the man's soul, ferrying him to the other side. I don't believe that Volibear would have given him any gifts. He would have died regardless, so he might as well go out, not believing that he would have gotten something in return.
Interestingly enough, Potoo,
Mm.
as you catch a sight of this after the screaming, Legion just says, "Another sword that absorbs souls. It does seem I have a rival."
No. Does not take souls. Ferries them to the other side.
Yes, but Legion doesn't know that. Legion just saw a
That's
soul get absorbed into the soul. The sword is like, my
Legion's
job.
like error.
my job,
Legion's
bitch.
silly.
I'm throwing hands now.
Throwing hands, specifically Potoo's hands, because I've got none of my own.
Yeah. And at that, she is going to spend the remainder of the night posted on the rock, mourning the man's death, but also taking some flowers out of her pocket that are like in a small bag and sprinkling them on the rock as a ritual that she normally does just when people die and pass away.
Okay.
A serial killer who mourns. Now I've seen everything.
And as you do
Well,
so,
the looks of it, he was already dead.
I doubted that. Man had dedication long enough to drag himself over to the ice. I've known soldiers to get cut in half and to still exist, still survive. Hell, half of Zorn is a bunch of people who have just lost limbs and 95% of their sanity. And yet they still remain.
so
Anywho, Kuiper, what
Yeah.
about that tea?
Be right back.
Already on it.
Oh, you are fantastic.
Just make sure it's not the gravy one.
Of course not. Anything to cover up that grim sight.
It's fine. If it is the gravy one, I'll just take his blood instead. It'll be okay.
What?
What? Sorry, huh?
I thought I heard something. Never mind.
I thought you heard something too. You didn't, although at the same time, sure, whatever.
So,
Maybe there's a rodent.
well, sorry. While you all, those who are awake, start to have the tea. Potoo, will you go try and get back to sleep?
How late is it? / early.
Uh, just make me a nature check as you. The only way to really tell here is to look up at the sky.
Ooh. That is a 22.
The sun isn't rising yet, but it does seem a bit less dark, so you think you're on the other end of midnight, essentially.
Well, if it's too early, per se, to go back to sleep, two's probably not going to go back to sleep.
You think you could probably get a few more hours
Hmm.
in.
Is it going to be detrimental to me, Mrs. DM?
It completes a long rest if you rest.
Very well. I don't think I really took any damage. Thing. And I just used cantrips last battle. That should be fine.
Okay. So for you, it would only count as having had a short rest.
Yep.
But for those who remained asleep somehow, despite the fact that one of them really didn't want to be asleep, but we are, oddly enough, though, going to go into the mind of one of these two. Mariah,
Hiya.
your dream is a bit unusual. Like, your dreams, they're normally just, yes, superhero Mariah or Mariah, Defender of the Realms and such.
Dr. Mariah, stuff like that.
Yeah, this one,
Yeah.
you find yourself in a field of flowers. Just purple flowing flowers, a running river nearby leading out into the sea. A peaceful village in somewhere that seems oddly familiar. I will let you roll an intelligence check. Let's just see if you can work it out. You've got an inkling this may be a part of Shurima due to just the deserty nature and the vibe of what you got from last time you were in Shurima.
Yeah.
And as you're just walking through this field of flowers, just the bustling noise of the city around you, which then seems to fade. And the buildings start to fade. their forms becoming twisted and crooked. And the purple colouring of the flowers that you find yourself in spreads across the land, almost tainting it into a twisted, misshapen version of itself. And despite being alone, you feel like there's another presence here with you.
She'll shout out like hello and see if she gets a response.
A voice calls out, "You do fit the colour scheme so well here, given your unusual mental state and your magical prowess being a Yordle. Seems you have tapped into me as much as I am tapping into you." Or perhaps there was just something always lingering about your body. A purple substance, maybe.
No.
Now, you feel something just rush over your head. As you look up, it seems to be a swarm of misshapen fish swimming through the air.
You are not taking over my eggplant kingdom, you know that, so stay away.
Is your eggplant kingdom in Runeterra itself? Because if it is, then it eventually will be part of me. As will everything.
No, it's here.
A voice just chuckles, and a figure appears on the horizon. Figure standing much taller than you, almost swaddled in a large cloak. Tell me, what is your name, child?
Mariah.
Oop, I'm back.
Greetings, Mariah. You
And
may
who
call me.
excuse me.
Yes,
It is rude to not say your name.
I was just about to introduce myself.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the one being rude. Continue.
You may call me Belveth.
Right, I'm going to forget that in 5 minutes, but continue.
It was seen just by tapping into your memories. You and your friends are off to the Frostguard Citadel, are you not?
Yes, we are.
Wouldn't you know it? That is where I am also currently residing.
All right, so we're going to be like besties there.
That all depends. Are you willing to lend your aid?
What with?
The destruction of the Watchers.
Okay, the what? There's too much going on. What is going on? What is this? Destruction of watches?
Mariah, make me a wisdom check with advantage.
Wisdom check with advantage. Sure.
Because this is trying to recall. Either would have been a pass there. You remember the last time you were in the Freljord, when you were trying to get the bombs off the ice, and you saw that large eye piercing up from the ice below?
Oh, yeah.
That was a Watcher.
Ah.
And the figure will just tilt their head. You see, the Watchers, they want this whole reality to end, so they may go back to List. Whereas I wish it not to end. I wish it to be all one. All me. And out of those two choices, wouldn't you agree that my way is the better of the two? At least with me, everything survives in some way.
I think I should be the one in charge, to be honest with you. I'm a doctor. I'm everything that you would need. I can help the people. I would rule the world perfectly, and everyone will get cupcakes.
Dream eggplant says vote Mariah.
They give.
You know what? This is going to be a funny thing. Mariah, roll me a persuasion. Or is it?
Oh, god damn it! I was
Just-
really hoping for like a nat 20 and be like,
Oh, and you can remain a doctor when you are part of me. In fact, I am already several doctors, masons, fishermen,
whoa, 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 whoa.
warriors.
I'm not going in yet.
Uh.
You can say goodbye to that.
You act like you have a choice.
I do. Actually.
No means
I
no, no
have-
means no, no means no.
And you know the only thing that will be going up to you is my 2 guns, okay? Understand that? Thank you and goodbye.
You're a child.
And with that, you feel yourself just flying backwards as if the world is just rushing past. Just into
This encounter had the Waffleberg seal of approval.
just into darkness, and then a restful sleep. And morning will break. Those who are asleep can wake up.
It is
Porcelain Lady will
strange.
take the black slime from the previous night, just like into her body. Just be like, yep, it's all part of this now.
Alekxander slept surprisingly well last night. Perhaps Alexander's body knows what he was prepared for ahead.
Do you have 3 threes, Mr. Kuiper?
Sorry?
Do you have 3 threes?
Oh, right, yes. I don't like this game.
What game are we playing?
I don't know.
I thought we were playing
Also,
backgammon.
no, I don't.
Shit.
Ah,
Go fish.
You just say
Chucks
something
the
rough
card.
for once.
Shame we don't have any dice. Knucklebones would be fun.
What the fuck is
only
knucklebone?
just woken up. Fucking hell.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning.
How do you wake up?
Knucklebones
looking
is
so
amazing.
fantastic?
I've never
What
played
the
it.
fuck is knucklebone? What? Oh, okay. I thought you knew what it was. I was going to be like, what is knucklebones?
I know what it is. I must have played it a while ago.
What is it?
I can't explain it without dice.
Yes, it is easier to explain with dice.
Well, I don't have dice on me.
Alari and
So
Stellara
this
at this
is-
point are just preparing breakfast for everyone.
So,
Just
I see that we have decided to hunker around long enough to feed breakfast. Yes, okay, I suppose that makes sense. Fine.
well, you're going to need your
Yeah.
strength for this trip.
You're correct, of course. Alexander is just. We're so close. The impatience is beginning to get to Alexander.
That's a shame we've decided to live here.
Alexander is going to turn you into a kebab. A kebab. A kebab? Alexander's trying to make a pun out of this, and it's not working.
Seeing as we have time, because we're heading towards the Citadel, what's the plan? Or are we just walking straight up to the door, knocking and saying, "Hi, my name's Alexander, and these are the Alexandettes, and we're here to bash your faces in"?
Supposedly that, but more of this stealthy thing that people talk about.
Yes, we don't.
We
really-
haven't got a specific plan because none of us have ever really been that far inside of the Citadel, so we just don't know that much about it. Very few people do.
I suppose we have been there. We just need to go there again with a different mindset.
As this talk's happening, your vision for a second just gets like a purple tinge to it, Mariah, before you just shake your head and just shake it off.
Ah.
And just a slight whisper just enters. There is always the lower entrance.
Lower entrance. No.
Stranger danger! Stranger danger! Stranger danger! No longer approves of this encounter!
We
Mariah?
don't go through the lower entrance. No, I think someone's trying to kill me and trying to get them inside of them, and I don't want to go inside of them. Not in a
That
weird.
door is not a good door.
Okay, wait. What's
I
going
do
on?
believe that perhaps resting near the egg is starting to have an adverse effect on Mariah.
Right. No, this isn't funny. I was sleeping, right? You know what I mean? So then I was in this beautiful land. Purple flowers, purple. Purple. Then it went all wrong. And someone was like, you're going to be inside of me and I'm going to take over the world and save the world. And I was like, I'm not going to be inside of you. That's weird. And then, yeah, it kind of chucked me out the world. You know what I mean? And, yeah.
Alright,
Mariah,
very different
Sounds like
people,
somebody
because that
has a
sounds like
kink.
a fucking good time.
Mariah, can I do something to you from just to make sure?
Oh boy!
Hold on, Alexander. Can I ask to charm you? That way we can see if this is insanity or if you're telling the truth.
Yeah. I'm telling the truth. I swear to God, I haven't taken any drugs in the last 48 hours, so it's not from that.
Wonderful. I don't have to
It's a
tell
little
her. She's telling the truth. I
sometimes,
fully
aren't you?
believe her. What? What is this Waffleberg you keep talking about?
It is probably best we do not spread the teachings of Waffleberg to your brain.
No.
Great, now it's an educator. How wonderful. It's a religion.
He is
Holy
not a religion. Please do not make Waffleberg a religion. Oh God, do not make Waffleberg a religion.
I'm pretty sure
Waffleberg
he's
is
a
a
religion.
very
He is
explosive
actually a
soul,
religion,
and we used
isn't
to
he?
travel
I'm
with.
saying this out loud. Please do not spread the word of Waffleberg.
Waffleberg would like to state Waffle Jesus is now a thing. Just somewhere's
Jesus.
just somewhere's in
Messiah?
Zon. The Kai, which is technically a half god, is just stand on a soapbox like worship Waffle Jesus.
Have you ever seen
Oh.
Rio de Janeiro, but it's just a really buff Waffleberg?
Yeah, basically.
Wahlberg.
But Fright at this point is like, so you had something enter from the lower back door into your mind. Do you have parasites? Is that what I'm hearing?
No. When we was all talking about trying to get into the Citadel, I got this purple flicker of vision, which has not happened before. This is a new symptom. Maybe I need to diagnose myself. And then I heard a whisper telling me that there's a lower entrance and go through there, but I feel like that is a trap to my death, which won't be too good because I kind of don't want to die. I'm not in the mood.
Fright is going to use detect thoughts on Mariah. Are there any thoughts within here that aren't hers?
Let me just look up this spell quick.
I'm not entirely sure if it works like that, but I've seen it work like that before. So I
Okay.
don't know if it works like this at all, but worth a try.
It's more a case of how are you doing this? Are you kneeling down to look at Mariah on Mariah's level, or are you just looking down at Mariah?
He is going to reach over with his clawed hand, and he is going to painlessly, should be stated, tap Mariah, and he's going to do it through blood. Not a lot of blood.
Okay. I just need to make sure, given if you were looking down at it, you had like a 1 in 3 chance of actually hitting Mariah. The rest would have either been eggplant or that parrot that still lives in her.
Fair.
But as you tap in to try and get an idea of Mariah's thoughts. Make me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom saving throw. Excuse the blood dice on my phone. That is a 19. I'm having to use D&D Beyond for my phone. So it does sound like it really does sound like it's work.
That was incredible. Huh?
So.
Yeah, hold on. You really want to hear it go? Wait, hold on.
Oh, no.
It's just. It's a great sound. It's very therapeutic.
So you tap into Mariah's thoughts. Something that no sane person would ever think of doing.
Fright's not sane.
Therefore, I am still technically not wrong.
Exactly. You are not wrong. Fright is a member of the Crimson Circle. He is not sane.
The best way to describe this is, it's less a nice organized file that you could just flip through, or a nice book with a nice appendix or index, right? A more scrunched up balls of information that have just become its own large pile in the middle of a floor. Probably with a Mariah diving through them at the same time. Like hopping from one thought to another, like, woo, ooh, shiny. Woo.
Ah, yes, the brain Mariah is at work.
Interesting.
Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
Anything out of the normal? Any gap in thoughts? Any thoughts within her head that are present within her that should not be present?
Anything slightly more purple.
Given the way you're doing this, I'm going to ask for 2 different rolls.
Okay.
First of all, make me an investigation check.
Okay.
And
We'll
then
do that.
make me a medicine check.
Investigation is a 22, and then medicine is a 21.
Okay. So, on the investigation, you're going through her thoughts and her mind. And dreams, when you've done this before, trying to find people's dreams, they're ones that quickly start fading, as most dreams do. So you do find a scrunched up piece that seems quite fairly fresh, but is quickly fading. Does have a sparkle of purple to it.
Let's look at it.
You unfurl it, and it's a lot of jumbled up thing of, oh god, oh no, oh god, oh no, who this, oh no, why is she talking, oh no. But one particular name seems to be written down several times, mainly because from Mariah's thoughts, it quite literally says, I'll forget this if I don't. But she seems to be forgetting it anyway as the dream fades. The name Belveth.
Not a name I imagine Fright would know. And that, any descriptions within this?
Unusually twisted fish-like creatures. What seems to be a port town in Shurima. Turning purple and all the voices just dying out at once.
Oh, wonderful. All right.
I am also just looking this up to see stuff, because I know that certain towns in Shurima are also technically Noxian.
Yes, some are Noxian. I don't believe that's one of them. If it's the town I'm thinking of from the short story, I do not believe it is one of them. He will crumple it up. Also, Fright served in Ionia. He hasn't served in Shurima.
That is fine.
Fright will crumple it. He will drop it. He's also served kind of in the Demacian area as well with the kings and shit. But he will crumple it up, leave it. As he kind of looks around, looks at internal Mariah. You should really clean up in here at some point. Just saying.
Lean
You're gonna
on?
get.
That's a lot of effort.
It should be noted, the internal Mariah is wearing a doctor's lab coat and like one of those. It's not a stethoscope. What's those ones called? It's like the metallic disc that doctors wear on the forehead. I forget the name.
Oh god, I have no idea.
It's a light thing. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
Fright looks at internal Mariah.
Head
You
mirror.
know what? Keep being head mirror. You keep being you.
Interestingly enough, through the medicine check,
Oh,
there is a bit of tainting in her blood. And you would recognize this mainly as you saw some of it be handed over at the party.
yeah.
There is a bit of shimmer
Okay.
in her blood.
We're removing that.
Okay. Mariah, as he's
Yeah.
delving into your mind, you feel something trying to tug out of your body from him. Are you going to let him?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So, everyone else, as you watch as Fright just touches Mariah's forehead, there's a brief moment when he's just muttering to himself and Mariah's muttering to herself. Then you see the hand just pull away, and a purple-like substance just slowly pull out of Mariah's forehead.
What are you doing?
Fright will take out a vial, and he will put it within the vial. And he will pull out of Mariah's head at this point as well while he's doing this.
Yep.
Sorry, what was that, Kuiper?
I asked, what are you doing? Why?
Your
Just looks
friend
at
has
him.
your friend has something that they probably shouldn't have in them. Removing it now before it gets worse later on.
Oh no, now I completely understand.
Yes.
Kuiper, you would
Yeah.
recognize the purple substance, given you've seen it before.
Yep.
It's shimmer.
Yeah, you just
That's
I
right.
completely understand.
I think we all agreed Fright does know what shimmer is in the past when he was talking with Vladimir.
Yes.
Fright kind of looks at it. Does he recognize it as shimmer?
Given it was only recently when the party happened, yeah.
He kind of looks at it. You know, back in the day, there was Noxian politicians who took a great interest into this. Don't really remember what all came of it. Not my area of expertise. I was, after all, an artilleryman, not a foresman. Preferred making things blow up. Kind of caps the vial once he's done, shakes it a little bit, and then puts it back in the holder as he kind of looks at the rest. Any more of you that have done drugs that you shouldn't have done?
I mean, the answer is yes, but I'm not sure which ones.
Kuiper just looks to either side.
You are such a large individual with so much blood that I'm not entirely certain I'd be able to pull it all out.
I was referring to the party members, not myself.
Oh, well, in that case, you continue being the carrot-eating version that you are.
I assume the
Stick in the
question
mud
then
right
is willingly or not?
What?
Dude just kind of grins and walks off.
Consent is important. Always make sure they have consent. If not, slit their throats. Don't know why I'm having to tell people this now. Alrighty, cool. Well, that should be solved. If you hear any more voices, not my fault.
Oh, I mean...
By the way,
What
does,
did you discover from all that? Who can we trust whatever was in her head? Because it does have to be said that this is the first that Alexander's ever heard of there being a lower entrance to the Citadel. And that's the most information I've ever heard on this shit.
all I know was that some purple fish thing. I don't know. By the way, Mariah, learn the Dewey Decimal System or some shit. God.
What?
It's okay. It's okay. He's just gonna pat her on the head. You're perfect how you are.
Uriah just starts sounding like a chicken saying what?
You are perfect the way you are too. Thank you. Okay.
Oh, I fucking know I'm perfect the way I am. And that does name Belvath ring any bells to any of you?
Nope.
Would it ring any bells to anyone here?
I
Let's
highly
see.
doubt it.
What's the
I
sign?
doubt it would because, in consideration to her actual lore, she's fairly new.
The
Yeah,
only
Some of the only people that would know her would be people who survived some of the attacks on the Shuriman cities.
Even
And
Waffleberg probably wouldn't know of her because he's too old.
yeah,
Oh, it's not so
Yeah.
much know of her, but remember she was also named after the town. So it's less a case of would you know about her or would you know about the town in Shurima?
Porcelain Lady might.
Again,
Like a
Fright did not serve in Shurima.
disadvantaged history?
I guess that's the history she does know, yes.
Kuiper and Poison Lady. You've not heard of a being called Belveth, but you've heard of a fishing port in Shurima called Belveth. Kuiper, you remember it to be quite a bustling one, but given the time between you being alive back then in Targon and you waking up after the ring was activated, you are not quite sure what's happened to it. Poison Lady, you vaguely have heard rumors about some calamity befalling Belveth.
As I recall, the city of Belveth in Shurima, well, has gone under, I guess you could say, siege. And some rumors suggest that they've even lost. But other than that, there's no person I've ever met or heard about named Belveth. Just a
See?
city. Well, that's what travelers have been calling it. And I'm
Siege
sure
by
you
a
know.
tree.
Well, I'm gonna do this just for prosperity me's sake. I believe they called it, so I know what it is. Torments people night and day. Oh, yes. The void. Or part of
Ooh.
it, I guess. Other than that, the rumors don't tell much, and unless we officially go there to see if they are true, I'm not 100% sure that they can even be believed.
Wonderful. Not my problem, not my monkeys. Sorry, not my monkeys, not my problem.
As soon as you say that, uh, actually no, Smee got left behind on the ship, didn't he?
Yeah.
So as soon as you say
Yeah.
that, just back on the ship, just Smee just looks up from him playing cards.
He's also not my monkey, not my problem. I don't own him.
Aye, that did not clear up anything. You know what? Alexander's had enough. Get your breakfast eaten, get your stuff together. Alexander wants to get started. It's alright.
I think I've already had my breakfast.
Yes, well, some of us are slower eaters, aren't we?
That's not
Alekxander,
That is my name.
you said you were looking for a plan for when we get there. At least something.
You got something in mind?
Well, going to a location such as the Watchers, a lot of bad things happen in areas like this. I suggest maybe taking a read of the history of the location. I have a way that I can do so, and it might fill us in on Belvet.
How long is this read going to take?
Oh, it should only take, God, I want to say maybe 10 minutes.
Oh, good lord, go for it.
Ooh, that
Alright,
does,
take your time with your breakfast again, I guess.
that does
Well, no, I can't do it until we're literally standing in the tower, dear, the citadel.
Oh, okay, fair enough. You got some strange powers. Alright.
Oh,
that does remind
Question.
me. Oh, okay.
Is the Citadel a castle, or does the Citadel have a city around it?
It's just a large castle.
Okay. Because I know not, because there's an actual tribe that lives there, right? Because we've got the two tribes that live outside, and then you have the Watchers, right? Because they're the third tribe.
No, the Watchers are the things underneath
the
the
Not the
ice.
Watchers.
entities.
Frost guards.
Sorry, not the Watchers, the Frost Guards. But not all of them are Reavers, correct? That's a thing the party knows, right?
You've
'Cause
only seen
we've seen
them
Frost Guards.
armored up in their armor and such.
Okay.
So you know that you know that Lysandra's forces consist of the trolls, as well as people clad in darkened armor.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd assume that if they're not living in the castle itself, then yeah, they must live somewhere.
At least the trolls have to live somewhere.
The trolls are a
'Cause I
wandering
highly-
group. Right.
Yeah, but there has to be, because they visit quite often, and I highly doubt they let the trolls stay.
If I recall right, the trolls currently live in the mountains.
Yeah, I think Trundle has his own castle dealio.
Yeah,
But
there's no named location for it on the map. Ah, you motherfucker!
are you okay?
The cat just tried to climb up the other side of the sofa where my foot's hanging off, and given it's a lower point than the upper sofa itself, he tried to climb up via my foot. Therefore, dug his claws into it.
Oof.
Luckily, I had a sock on, but still, ow. But yeah. Something that I have just reminded myself of, given that you spent most of the night awake anyway. Kuiper, you still have an item that is as of yet unidentified.
I do as well, technically.
Oh
Are they
yes.
books or is it something else?
No, it was sorry. It was the Poison Lady. It wasn't Kuiper.
Okay.
Although there is the other thing as well. I've tried to remember what they were.
I remember
Poison Lady fast.
two.
I have the maze medallion.
Yeah, which you
The
have.
medallion which has a maze on it, which I failed to
Yeah.
identify at first and
What did
have
Potoo
not
have?
been.
I remember Potoo gave Kuiper the Medal of Muscle, but I don't think he told him exact distance.
Okay. I remember someone else picking something up where it had a spell in it, but no one could identify what spell it was. I think
That was Mariah.
Yeah, Mariah has that. So
Yep.
while you're having breakfast, you can try to identify these things. To try to figure out what spell it is, it would be an Arcana. And to identify what item it is, it's also an Arcana, unless you've got something that will help you identify the item.
The porcelain lady's just gonna kind of step outside and pull it out of her bag.
Okay.
After she steps around to the side of the building. Doop-a-doop.
Okay. And is anyone going to... Mariah, are you going to try and see what spell it is inside your thing?
Yeah.
Okay, roll me an Arcana. So
Oh, sorry. Did it come through twice? It might come
yeah,
through twice.
it came through twice. So those are still in their home breakfast. You see Mariah just focusing on this thing, but failing to understand what spell is in it. I'm also trying to remember what the item was as well. I know it's something where you can cast a spell once and it has a chance to refresh. It was something like
Look
that.
like you're racking your brain. You want me to take a look?
Yeah, please.
Roll me an Arcana,
Doing.
Kuiper.
That was to GM. That was a nat 20.
Yes, that is a nat 20. So, both these items have now been identified. Kuiper, you know the spell that is within this item that Mariah can cast via it and will be refreshed, well, potentially refreshed each day when it's used. It's Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
He chuckles a bit. Use that on someone to make them laugh, but only people you don't like.
So essentially put
That would be useful.
Mariah.
Yeah.
It hits something in 30 foot of you, and they need to make a wisdom saving throw, or fall prone, becoming incapacitated and unable to stand for the duration.
Good.
And each fixed turns, and each time it takes damage, it can make another wisdom saving throw to try and end the spell. Otherwise, it's just going to be rolling around laughing its ass off.
All right.
Thoughts? Porcelain Lady. This is a medal of the maze. When you use an action to trace the maze described on this medal, you gain advantage on wisdom checks and know the quickest route to the end of any non-magical path or maze for 1 hour.
She is going to shatter some of the porcelain in her hand into the shape of the medallion,
Okay.
and then set the medallion into the back of her hand.
Okay. Oddly
Because
enough,
I remember you saying that one of the two items needed to be attuned. So I
yeah,
don't know if it's this one or Mariah's, but I'm not taking the chance because she would
I
make
believe
sure she
both.
could hold on to it.
I believe both needed to be attuned, but you've had
But
the time
she's
to
holding
attune
on
to it
to it
overnight.
regardless.
So, oddly enough, that one was a random roll that I got. But as soon as I read it, I'm like, that's actually going to be really helpful for this coming
The
up.
Citadel, yeah. The Citadel and everything else. We'll be able to walk the halls, guys.
So, after a bit, the porcelain lady re-enters. And as you finish off your breakfasts, Stellara will take hold of Umpa and be like, right, I guess we're better heading back to the ship then, as agreed to. Umpa's already doing the grabby hands.
Yes.
Umpa's already doing the grabby hands towards Alari, being like, no, what to go with?
Oh, you need to go. If we lose you in the Citadel, we'll never leave again. She won't let us.
Umpa kind of does like the little pout thing, with just pout, arms crossed. It's just held by.
Bounds, Umpa. It is simply that we don't want to risk too many people going into the Citadel, yes?
Come now, Stellara isn't that bad.
Yeah, I forgot you were here. Sorry, I think we've been introduced maybe twice.
And she'll just nod to you, but I'll take good care of her and head back to the ship.
As soon as she's out of Ishalos, that's Alara's mother, isn't it? I think.
No.
Ah, fuck, which one's that?
Drunk one.
Yeah.
Even
I remember
blindly
that one, I
dry.
just don't remember her fucking name.
I don't think we ever got a name.
She has a name.
Even God doesn't know.
She has a name.
She has.
I thought. Wait, the one that just left, isn't that Kuiper's?
Kuiper's mother.
No,
not sure
not
about
more
that one.
than- I don't know what we're talking about anymore. I don't even know what happened.
I tried to scroll through Dion's streets to see if she'd written down the name. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go back on the old videos to remember.
Anyway,
Is it
Rewatching stuff.
important? What just happened? What is it important? What's going on? Everyone done with their breakfast?
Just about.
Obviously.
Stuffs one last, like, something in his mouth.
You look like a chipmunk. That's adorable.
Kuiper just grabs a piece of toast in mouth,
Ooh.
starts running off. I'll be late for the Citadel.
right. Let's get move on.
Somehow, for some reason, anime music starts playing in the background.
Chaos starts happening all around Kuiper as he runs.
So, as you all exit this building, those of you that were asleep for the night, so Mariah and Alekxander, you'll notice just something a bit off with the lake. Just an area where there seems to be a small crater now, where as if something tried to melt into it overnight.
You know what? I'm gonna roll perception to see if I see this because, quite frankly, they've been fucking awful.
That's fair.
And it's probably better I don't start working this shit out. Oh, fuck right off. With disadvantage because I'm blatantly looking away.
Full headset.
Anyway, fair. Oh, I accidentally left the game. I mean, that's one way to do it.
So you notice this little melted hole. It doesn't go fully through, like it hasn't punched through, but it has created a bit of a divot.
What the
And
fuck happened here? You know what?
Somebody
I don't
must
care.
have
I
tried
don't.
to.
Sorry, what was
Somebody
that?
must have started a fire in the night.
I'm impressed he was able to even make a divot.
I mean, was it really him or was it me? No, you're right. It was him.
although
I was about to say,
I do need to point this out now,
He
because
fought amiably.
you did just about roll enough there, Alexander. There is a strip that has not joined the black conscious. Oh god, I just realised I'm about to say. Give me a sec. There is a strip there that has not melted away into black goo. A strip that seems to have white burr-like fur still attached to it.
Sorry. Who was burning the lake?
she found a Ursine friend, decided, he wanted to break into the ice, kill the egg down below for his old gold, 1,000 pierced. Anywho, he's gone now, I imagine.
Oh, he's passed on to the other side.
He's
He
gone
would
now.
have died on his. He would have died
Gotta
on his
make-
mission anyway.
So, Mr. DM, as a much bigger expert in the League of Legends lore of Volibear supporters than I,
Yes.
how would Alexander feel about putting two and two together that the porcelain lady has blatantly murdered another follower of Volibear?
I mean,
trying to
that's the
break
way
away.
you view it.
Here's
I'm sorry.
here's the interesting part, given you did roll just about enough for it. At first, there is a bit of anger building up as you do start to realize it. And then something that Fright mentioned. Fright didn't say the oncoming storm or the Volibear or anything. He said the 1,000 pierced. And you've heard rumors about the states that your god the Volibear used to be in before the modern times, a more primal, darker state. One that your shamans warned you never to go down the path of. The thousand-pierced bear. One who would corrupt the mind and body. Looking at the
Just
strip
gonna.
of... Oh, go on.
No, go on. If you got more to
Yeah.
say.
Just looking at the strip of fur and just putting two and two together, you feel like this might not have been a Ursine. This might have been someone who lost their body to the thousand-pierced bear.
Gonna shoot the porcelain lady a very icy stare and just like, Alekxander possibly should be more angry with you.
I mean,
However, if we are talking about the thousand-pierced bear, who is the same and yet not the same as the man I follow, of the god I follow, there is... It was perhaps for the best that he does not continue in this world. They are not the most stable.
stable of individuals.
Oh shucks! I was
They
hoping he was
are...
going to.
They make me look calm, let's put it that way. Alright, fair enough. Let's just move past this whole chagrin and charade. Let's get a move on.
As you say.
I'm impressed that you know what those words mean.
I mean... Hey, Alekxander isn't unintelligent. Alekxander is just headstrong. There's a difference, and Alekxander knows that. A rump.
So, taking you all back to the map now because you are traveling. It took you a
We're
day.
downtown, going slow because this blizzard's gonna get stuck in
Oh
the
no, the
hole.
blizzard seems to not be that strong today.
Okay.
But it took you roughly a day to get from the ship to Yeti's Vigil. So you'll probably arrive at the Foundling Village mid-afternoon,
Fourth
late
day.
afternoon, something like that.
Just realized we're taking a stroll through the Canada of Runeterra.
Okay, we arrive at the Foundling Village. Anything important, I suppose?
Oh, you're not arrived just yet.
Okay, fuck.
You know me. I want to get some of these things off because they're fun.
You don't know me.
Casually see Praetorian Moose.
Let's see, what level are you? Oh, you're all level 9-ish. So let's roll this.
Monkey.
Monkey. What the fuck is that?
The fuck is wrong?
When I just googled it, yeah, it's like, oh, you know this thing, and it's led by this. I'm like, I've never heard of that. Okay, so it's basically just a leader of it. Okay. So as you're just making your way, I want you all, please, Jesus Christ, it's happening again. I turn away for a minute and come back to it just to see Waffle's Vigil on the Waffling Village.
I noticed that you erased the other ones I did on this map, so I had to.
This was a brand new map. But
It's
yeah,
okay.
can peeps roll me perceptions, please?
That's an 18.
I give up. I'm only allowed to succeed perception checks when I don't want to. 3.
Okay, so Kuiper doesn't notice. Alekxander doesn't notice. What did you get there, Fright? Santa?
I got an 18.
Okay, yeah, so everyone else would notice aside from Jack and Kuiper, although Lyra will point it out. As you look over to the side, just in the distance, there seems to be a travelling group. Seems to be roughly... Oh, so I'm going to change this upside, but still. 18
my.
travellers in total, just huddled up near each other for warmth. And one large mound, dragging along a large cart behind it. Well, like a caravan.
They all in fireball range of each other.
I mean, technically, yes.
Are they hostile? Can we tell if they're a militant force?
I'm not planning on fireballing them. I just want to know if they were close together.
Make me an intelligence check.
I'm not.
Well,
I'm not saying
Everyone
you.
just
Fireball.
woke
Maybe
up
I
today and
want
chose
fire.
genocide.
Yes.
I said I'm not going to
So-
fireball them. Jeez.
I think
but
I'm going.
genocide was
Uh,
your distancing tool.
That's a
Genocide is
17.
always a distancing tool.
A 17?
Yes.
You just kind of squint, try to see it, try to get any identifiers. And they do not seem to be hostile. They seem just to be travelers. In fact, built into the side of the caravan seems to be a small forge.
Fright's deviating course. He's now curious.
Okay.
I will probably follow
What
because
did
he
you
is also
say?
curious.
Oh,
But Fright also has a reason for why he's doing this. Because nobody here knows about the Citadel, but these people are coming in the opposite direction that we're going, so it probably wouldn't hurt to ask. Although it should be stated there is an 8-foot Noxian Minotaur with crimson red glowing eyes walking up upon this group of very obviously freezing it cold individuals.
I'm going to make a group perception for them. And one for the thing pulling the cart. Which does actually have its own stats. It has its own stats, and yet apparently it doesn't have its own stats. It just has stats for its race. Go fig. Okay. So this one's going to rely less on sight and more... Oh no, it has it that relies on sight or smell. So it's going to roll with advantage. You see the creature turn its head to look towards your direction, Fright. And as the rest of the group start to notice that this creature has stopped walking, they stop as well and look in the direction. And they spot you. It's everyone else following Fright, by the way.
Yeah,
I
Potoo
mean,
is
sure.
following.
what else can we do?
Yeah.
So while you can't see these people under the cloaks at the moment, you all get close enough where you can actually recognize this creature. It's a snowy owlbear.
Albert, if you will.
Snowy owl there.
Did somebody
How
just say Albert?
Good evening, my fine
Wench.
feathered beast-tilting friends. Fine wenches, yes.
Might be called
Hello.
into Calbear.
Oh no, we're starting on this again.
That was Foulbear.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm gonna mute myself while I get all this out of my system.
Oh,
Keep going.
wow.
It really hurt my jowls, bear.
We're just gonna shove Kuiper straight into the owlbear's mouth.
If it was partially undead, could you have a drow bear?
I don't get how that one works when a drow's just a dark elf.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's cold.
Drow's not undead.
Pardon me,
If
I'm
you
not
just
an
got
expert
out of
in
the
the
bath,
game.
do you need a towel there?
So we're going into combat with 20,000 Albers.
If you get eaten by one, you end up in its bowel bear.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm legitimately angry.
I'm not a member of the party. You can't punish me.
You say that now.
David,
Don't hurt me.
David,
I'll yell
I
bear.
don't know. I don't know if I have the heart to punish all of you.
David
But
brings
Friday's walking to the individuals.
David brings Santa in as a special guest in the next Flames episode, just so he can go for Michaelis.
Yes, Friday's greeting them.
Oh no. So,
Fright's not greeting them in the sense that he obviously knows that they could at any point be a threat. He is a Noxian still.
Okay.
But he's doing the Crimson Circle greeting, which is that
I feel like
very
I feel like I need to state I misheard you the first time, and I thought you said Friday's greeting them, and I thought it's like, yeah, I can't punish Zach because Zach's not in the game, but I could punish the Friday players.
No. I mean, I can punish the Friday players, and I will be punishing the Friday players.
No.
I did nothing.
You did everything. But yeah, Fright is greeting these delightful individuals.
They'll just look to you. Just a bit of confusion, and one of them will step forward. Hail.
Greetings. See that you fine folks are traveling from where we're going to. Might I ask where you're going?
Anywhere and everywhere. Just traveling the Freljord, going as we please.
Well, if you continue that way, you'll only come across ruins. So you might want to head in a different direction. Although in that, the person that's talking, they're Freljordian, right? They're not our sign?
Yep, they'll lower the hood. You'll see a Freljordian. Underneath, a human.
Ah. Pardon me, I didn't realize there were Freljordians this far north. Unless are you? I apologize. I'm not from here. I think that's kind of obvious. Are you? What is the name for them? Iceborne, Frostborn.
The Iceborne.
Yes.
Some of us are Iceborne, yeah. A lot of us are just people just trying to follow the teachings.
The teachings. What
Yes.
teachings?
The teachings of the Ram.
Ah. Is that what brings you up here towards the Citadel?
We go wherever there will be good materials to forge.
Oh, you are forge masters.
Indeed. We follow the teachings of the Ram. Of Orn.
Just Alekxander just mocking them from behind, right?
I apologize for my friend here. He's of a like-minded faith. It's completely different from what I've been told. I'm still trying to grasp the Freljordian religions.
They'll just
like each other.
They'll just look to you, Alekxander. He follows Orn's brother.
Brother?
Yes,
Dear God.
the volley
How
bear,
many
is it?
are there? What,
Yes, the volley bear.
There's a goat, a bear, a bird, a boar. Out of curiosity, was their mother really into animals?
I'm gonna stop you right there. It is simply a denotation of their power. They're not all half animals. Stop it.
I don't know. Have you seen the Shuriman gods?
Stop.
They're all half
Stop
animals as
it.
well.
No.
I just, as the literal half animal man in the room, I just
That's fair.
have to say, yes, I just have to point this out. Although now this points out, why is there not a Minotaur god? Why don't we have a god? Oh, probably because we're Noxian. Anywho, are you traders or just forge masters?
We like to forge and we then sell our goods on afterwards. As all forgers do, we want to get our items into the right hands.
Ah,
Do you have
well,
anything interesting that you've made recently?
Ow, 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 ow. Fritz, why? Pretty
Are
stretchy.
you okay?
yes.
Just
What's a fritz, and why is it biting you? What's going on? Sorry.
No, he wasn't biting me. He
you
just stretched his paw across while stretching and just rested his claws on my
you
arm. I'm like, ow, ow, ow.
you appear to
just
be
image this is
assaulted
the
by a
owlbear
wild
doing it.
animal.
I see you have a cat.
So,
That's a cat.
It's a type of cat. It's a Fragilordian cat. They look rather petite, but it's, not uncommon for people who travel to have some kind of a
I
companion.
thought he was carrying a baby basilisk on his shoulder.
Sometimes they do look the same.
I should have brought my Drakehounds.
we've got a few items here for sale. If you, what in particular are you looking for?
Mm, you have a staff of any kind?
Staffs. Ooh. Let's have a look. See what staffs we've got. And they are going to look through their wares in the back of the caravan. See what they can find. Any type in particular you're looking for when it comes to staffs? Like, are you looking for it for a conduit for magic, or just a nice, good, blunt object to bop things with?
I would be a conduit for magic.
Okay. Any kind of magic in particular?
Mm, Not specifically, not yet.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to roll to see. Okay. Well, we got this one here. Bit of a technology built into this one from built over back when we did a bit of traveling.
Oh,
Essentially put, there's a button on the end of this rod. You press this button, and it becomes magically fixed in place.
the rod becomes magically fixed in place?
Yeah. With
Um,
this test, it can hold roughly up to 8,000 pounds of weight.
you know what? I actually might have a use for something like that. Do you have another one, perhaps? I have a little bit of spending money, I guess you could say.
Let's see what else we've got here. As I look through this list, it actually says all the rare and magical rods and staffs.
Oh, D170!
Remind me again what your class is.
So she's a blood hunter. So her magic is all based off of intelligence for anything that she has for her blood maledicts
Okay.
or anything
So,
like that. She would have actual, like, I think she can learn a few spells and actual spells, but as you know, I replaced those with old magic.
yeah. It's just that some of these staffs and that I'm looking at, some of them just like requires attunement by this class. So,
Ooh. Would you have anything that's more or less just
Let's see what we've got. Best save yourselves go for you to find. Okay. We've got a bit of a smaller one here. I've got to be honest with you, it's less a rod and more of a wand.
Oh,
I don't know if that's going to be anything that you're after.
I mean, possibly. What does it do?
Essentially put these glyphs and runes in there. They allow you to cast detect magic.
Hmm. I think in this case we'll just take the floating staff.
Okay. So
Does it have like a gem or anything on the staff?
it looks more technological than magical. And it's got
Probably
like
more
a,
along the lines of a cane then.
yeah, and like a large button at the top. How much does this normally cost? Okay. It's around 5,000 gold pieces.
5,000 gold pieces. Well, dear. In that case, I'm going to, and she's going to reach onto her back and pull the sword off of her back and
Okay.
pull the gem out of it. She's gonna hand him the sword, and would you be willing to make a trade?
You just have a look at the sword. Do a quick check on it. Quite a good build sword there. Bit of use, but nothing that'll really take away from the price too much. What material is this?
Well, let's just say part of it comes from the celestial realm, part of it comes from the physical realm, and the other half of it, she runs her finger down the blade, activating the sword's inner ability, which is armory. And the gemstone is like a copied version of it so that she can use it while like she's not touching it. Oops, sorry.
Okay.
And so he would feel that magic coming from the blade.
I feel like I could knock some price off that. Then again,
How much do you
celestial
think you'd
steel.
give me?
Give me a sec. And he will rush over to one that seems a bit more hunched over.
Give you a second of persuasion check.
The one that's hunched over, that he walks over to, seems a bit more unusual compared to the rest, as even though they've got the cloak up as well, they have 4 horns just spiraling out to the top of the head. And he'll
No,
just,
not having any of that.
he'll just go over to her and be like, "What do you think?" She'll just have a look at it. If it is celestial steel, as they say, then we haven't really had metal this fine in some time. There could be a lot that could be done with this. And he'll look to you. All right, make it just 1,000 then.
Just 1,000 gold?
Just 1,000 gold and the sword.
Alrighty. She's going to dump all of her monies. She literally only has like 1,000 gold. She's gonna dump all of her monies on the table. She's going to take the cane.
Yep.
And then she's going to pull a small fastening object out of her pocket. Fasten the gem to the top of the cane, just above the button. And she's going to look at the gentleman and be like, you know, it's wonderful when you can copy things into gems. And she activates armory. And she has 5 of these beautiful canes, which I now have to stat out as blunt weapons instead of
These are
big weapons.
essentially what you have just bought is an
Yes.
immovable rod.
So, but yes, but you do understand that if armory, I can use them as stairs.
Yep.
Or as
Blow them
traps.
down in front of her, press the button on one of them, fixates all of them. Stairs.
So what's the rest of you doing while this is happening?
I imagine Potoo would have wandered towards the whole trading stuff. There's like one or two items that Potoo doesn't use. He'd probably get rid of.
Ah, so you're looking to sell, are you?
Sell or trade.
Okay, okay. Would there be anything in
Uh,
particular you'd be after?
mm, Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. If you have anything that might be interesting, I would enjoy it. Potoo is going to pull out the... Where is it? Because I don't use it, because I don't think I did the thing with it. The Sword of Sharpness.
Okay.
The freaking gourd of Ionian spices from Piltover. And the anti-aging potion, but he's gonna hold on to the anti-aging potion because kind of figures that they should probably know what that is before they get it.
That's fair. So you will look and be like, okay. Let's see what we got here. God damn it. I've lost the thing again. The God damn it, give me a sec. Sorry about this.
So good.
Oh, you're fine.
That's what I was after, but I wanted the thing for it and I'm not finding it. Was it this? Screw it, that'll do. So, let's see. Would you be after more defensive or offensive things?
Well, it would be nice to get a bit of defense.
A bit of defense, alright. Now, would you say you're someone that struggles with water a lot? We've got stuff that helps with water. We've got some stuff here that'll help with languages. We've got this particular item that we picked up and none of us have used yet. And he will just like show off what seems to be a fancy cloak with several pouches.
So many pockets.
You can make me an Arcana check if you wish.
That is a 19.
This is a robe of useful items.
Oh god.
Essentially, it's a cloak that has several patches just on it. And as an action, you could detach one of the patches, causing it to become the object or creature it represents.
Handful has already been informed you'll be invaded in 5.
Is it like a recharge type situation? Or is it like a one-time use?
It's a case of it has 44 other patches aside from the normal ones it would have. And they are randomly chosen via a 1d100 chart what would be on there. So for this one in particular, you will see 4, 6, 8. So it's that is a bad roll, but still, there are 19 patches.
That didn't answer my question, though.
Of what, sorry?
Plus 12?
Is it like a...
The robe starts with two of each of the following patches. So each robe of useful items always has 2 daggers, 2 bullseye lanterns, 2 steel mirrors, 2 10-foot poles, 2 hempen ropes, and 2 sacks. And then it has the 4d4 other patches.
Nah, not that one.
All right. Not really usually for everyone. That's understandable. How about let's try.
Be right back.
I'm not doing that again. We're not giving people necklaces of fireballs again.
Oh my god.
I didn't
My
hear
God.
the end of that last time.
I don't think 2 needs that. We've already got somebody who can cast fireball.
What does this do? Okay. Would you say you're someone that likes to make sure they can at least avoid everything that's coming at them?
The more I can avoid damaging, the more I can damage. So, yes.
It might not look like much, but we've got this fancy little brooch here.
A brooch.
You can
You
roll
want
me
me to roll another?
Yes, please.
That is the second 19 in a row.
This is a brooch of shielding. It requires attunement, but while wearing it, you have resistance to force damage, and you are immune to magic missile.
I like that.
So would you be interested in that one?
I would also like to look at the thing that had water resistant type thing before I go making a final decision.
Yes. That's fair enough. Let me see if I can find it again. There it is. Okay, we've got a couple of things for this. We've got either a ring or a cloak. Which would be better for you?
Well, I've already got. Just kind of shows the cloak of protection that he's been wearing.
Ring it is then.
Mm.
So we've got this small little ring here. It just seems to be like an almost sapphire blue-ish metal ring. Essentially, but we already know what this one does because one of our numbers kind of fell into the water, kind of struggled to get to the surface. Put it on in a last-ditch effort to see what it did. Allowed him to swim fast.
Huh.
So we did a bit of checking. Turns out, ring is swimming. Essentially, ring of swimming gives you a swimming speed of 40 foot while wearing the ring.
Well, I suppose that could be useful.
So are you thinking of going for both or just one?
How much would it be for both?
Let me find out. Also, sorry that this is somehow devolved into a shopping episode, people.
Alexander's just tapping his foot over in the corner like, hurry up.
So it's 2,000 for the ring and 1,500 for the brooch.
And that is adjusted with what I am giving you in exchange.
What item were you trading over? The cloak of protection?
Not
cloak of protection. It was
it was the sword of sharpness, the gourd of Ionian spices. I suppose you could probably find a price for that yourself. And it was the anti-aging potion.
Okay. So the sword of sharpness would pay for the brooch of shielding and then a little bit extra on top. Also, I love the fact that I found this thing where it tells you the price of stuff. But it gives 2 different prices. It's price range per damage. 500 awards to 5,000 GP. Price per sane prices. I love it. It's just, Here's what it should be via the book. But here's what it is if you're not a madman.
Here's what it is if your economy's not running in the shitter.
So that's the sort of sharpness. The spices would add a bit extra onto that. And what portion was it?
The anti-aging potion. Although Potoo hasn't set that down just yet because he did want to tell them what it was before
Potion
he
of
gave it.
longevity.
Yeah.
Let's see how much that would be. Potion of longevity would be Jesus. Have you not set that one down yet? So
Might as well set it down. I'll let you know what it is.
as soon as you set that down, all eyes are on it.
Scoops it back up and looks at them.
Sir, if you were to give us that, we'd give you both those things and throw that cloak in for free.
Sorry, what did she just show?
The potion of longevity. The one where when you drink it, your physical age is reduced by 1d6 plus 6 years to a minimum of 13 years. But each subsequent time you drink it, there is a 10% cumulative chance that it will instead age 1d6 plus 6 years.
Get him addicted, it'll be funny.
Should I roll to see if they're just being greedy or if they're genuinely
Roll an insight
curious?
on them. Roll an insight on them.
That is a 16.
They look like they know what this is, and they know its worth. They're just staring at this potion
So-
like,
Are they underballing me or are they giving me what I need?
insight.
Another insight.
Yes. 'Cause your insight to them at the
22.
first... They're probably underballing you, to be quite fair. I
Nice.
looked up the price of what this potion is, and in fact, what skill would it be to appraise the cost of stuff?
Ranna, what did you get?
There was get for what?
Like, did you sell things or did you purchase things?
It was trading. I set
Okay.
down the potion of longevity, and they just all looked.
Potoo.
Real shit.
Well, everyone that's there at this point where they're watching Potoo can make me an intelligence check to try and determine roughly the price value of this potion.
2 is an
There's no way in the
intelligent
Seven
bird.
Shades of Hell that Alexander would have a fucking clue.
That is a 23.
So Potoo and Kuiper have got this so far. A porcelain lady, you're not too sure. It looks fancy. You've never seen one, but you're not quite sure. Mariah and
I'm also very into my own thing that I just got because I want to see if it can be upgraded. So she's just kind of looking at it.
Mariah,
Welcome back, Santa, as well. Do you
You're-
want to roll an insight?
Mariah, you've kind of clinged yourself somehow onto the head of the owlbear.
Not surprised at that, and I will probably do that.
It's like, how much for this? Just holding onto the owlbear. For insights, yeah, they're lowballing her, Santa, but intelligence it would be for determining how much this portion is. Okay. So, Postal Lady, you're not too sure. Mariah, haha, Albert. Alekxander, God, why won't these people hurry up? Life to save! Everyone else. You would guess roughly in the ballpark of, and this is going off a guide here for portion costs, 9,000. This is a very rare potion.
Two
So
demands full
she-
price.
Is she selling them the potion, or is she
Oh.
buying the potion?
She
It
is.
was trading at one point. But if the potion is costing as much as like saying, the potion may rack up a bit more than just.
Fright looks at the potion, looks at them. Does Potoo know that they're lowballing?
She does now.
Yeah.
Well, he does now.
Yeah.
Fright moves over towards the owl bear, kind of keeping an eye on it, but it's very obvious that he can still see the people. What was the price you gave for the potion?
We haven't given a
Well,
price. Oh,
we were planning on trading points at the brooch, points at the ring, and then points at the cloak. What was it again?
robe of useful items.
Mm.
Which
Worth far more than that.
it is indeed, given that this didn't have that many patches on and therefore is on the lower end cost of robe of useful items.
What kind of beast is this? Sorry, I'm a bit of a collector back home. I have quite a few.
Beast? What do you mean?
Yes, you're a creature of labor here.
They'll look to the owlbear, realise Mariah is now quite literally sat on its head. I'm surprised she didn't get eaten. I'm surprised she didn't get eaten.
The owlbears called me. I called the owlbears.
This is assuming
Is
that
it
she
a
has
beast?
fed eggplants.
Is it a beast of combat as well? It's not just a beast of labor.
I mean, it probably could hold its own in a fight, but old Bessie here's not really seen much of combat. She's mainly just been helping us carry the caravan around.
I see. So primarily a beast of labor then. I have apparently some sentimental value as well. You wouldn't happen to be willing to part with it, would you?
Okay, so just by putting together the price of the 3 items as well as the owlbear, that would be currently. They'll look to Bessie. They'll look to the party. You're asking us to sell our owlbear for this potion.
No, I'm asking you if you would like to.
Make me a persuasion check. Is this going to be another game where the party ends up with an owlbear?
No, remember
Well, you thought they already have
from
every other pet in existence. Why are you surprised?
from Inoxus, Fright has a collection of
Fright has a zoo.
Fright does have a that is a 23 plus 6 persuasion, baby.
I mean, I guess we were heading back to the shelters anyway. We could probably pick up Duncan to help carry the cart from then on. You do realize
Do you ever
owlbears are
make...
quite the high in price though, right?
I do. Do you ever make it south?
We rarely leave the Freljord, but sometimes we do for extra materials and such, yes.
I've just realized I have no means of actually transporting this back to Noxus. I doubt the boat could transport such a creature. That's saddening. Tell you what, I don't want the owlbear anymore. I'll find another one. But Fright will take one of the feathers. I'm keeping this.
I don't want the owlbear anymore. Friendship with Mariah has ended officially.
While Fright is talking to them on this, can the two see anything that might cover more of the price for the potion with trade?
Make me an investigation check.
Investigation. Hopefully something that'll be useful. That's a 21.
Given that they had just pulled out a thing that several other potions are resting in at the moment, you do spot a potion there that, while not as costly as your current potion, that combined with the ring and with the brooch would mean you would only be paying 500 for the free. The potion, of course, being a potion of Storm Giant Strength.
Ooh.
Lasts 1 hour, and when you drink it, your strength score is increased to 29 for an hour.
I tell you what. That potion right there, with the items you've already said, then I think that should be good.
With the items already set, is that including the robe or not the robe?
You can keep the robe.
Okay.
Tenfold somewhere is going to murder all of you.
It would still roughly be 500 on top of that we would need. But that would get you the potion, the brooch, and the ring.
Right. Out of character, that is still you including plus the adjusted price with the Sword of Sharpness and the two other items, yes?
That's just going off the potion itself. The potion of longevity. If you throw in one of the it was the Sword of Sharpness, and what were the other items? Sorry, the spices. Spices, right.
Spices, yeah.
Spices, right. Sis.
If you throw in the sword, that will probably cover everything.
With the sword, that should be everything.
Yes, I suppose it would.
And the best part is the sword hasn't been used yet, so you don't have to worry about repairs or anything.
Very well. They will take the potion and hand you the potion of Storm Giant Strength, the ring of swimming, and the brooch of shielding.
Marvelous. Nice doing business with you.
Okay. Kuiper, is there anything you're wanting?
I would like to trade if that is okay.
Sure. What would you like?
How much for the robe?
For the robe, given that there isn't that many patches on it, unfortunately, we would say 200 gold. It's not that costly.
I have a bladed wooden fan and hellfire repeating crossbow for trading.
Okay.
I am not sure of the value, but I am sure you can find somebody that would take them.
The crossbow is roughly... If they look to the crossbow, look to you. For the crossbow, we could give you the robe, and on top of that, we can give you one of these two potions as well, which would equal up to the cost. They will hold up two different potions. You can make me an Arcana check just to see if you can tell what both are. 30, yes. The one on the left is a potion of gaseous form. When you drink it, you gain the effect of the gaseous form spell. No concentration required. The other one is a potion of resistance. Specifically, resistance to cold. It will gain you the resistance to cold for an hour.
That sounds amazing given our circumstances.
Brewed right here in the Freljord itself, this one.
Wonderful. Robin potion, please.
Alright,
Hands
so
over this crossbow that's way too big for him.
So they will take the crossbow and hand you the potion of resistance and the robe of useful items, which I now need to roll to see what is in it.
Do you want me to do it?
Yes, please, given that there is
A lot.
a lot, but also not that much, given that 12 of those we know are 2 daggers, 2 bullseye lanterns, 2 mirrors, 2 10-foot poles, 2 50-foot coils of hemp and rope, and 2 sacks.
Be in the
The
compendium.
mirrors are 2 by 4 foot, and the bullseye lanterns are full and lit.
So those plus 7 items.
Yes, so roll 7 d100s.
Oh, it's all in the item description anyway. I got it.
Alright. Oh, nice. Okay, so do you want me to reveal what those items are, or do you want to keep them secret for when you start pulling them off?
I'll keep them secret. That sounds fun.
Okay. The one that makes me sad is... Oh, wait, hang on. Oh. Okay. So, Kuiper trades over a crossbow in exchange for a potion and the robe. Is there anything Fright or Mariah are wanting from here?
What all is left?
Oh, there's still quite a few things in the back.
Anything Fright can see?
What would Fright be looking for in particular?
I don't know. I don't even think Fright would know. Whatever piques his eye fastest.
Bork.
Let's see if there is anything that would be in relation to what you use. What the fuck is that? I'm sorry, what? Okay, I'm going to be completely honest here. I was looking up any magic items that had to do with blood. The first thing that comes up is blood gem. It looks like a ruby that you would appraise to be 1,000 gold or more. When it comes into your possession, it cannot be sold or traded, and other creatures view it as a worthless rock. Because the thing is cursed. You can't get rid of it. Any attempts to leave it or throw it away are futile. It always reappears. Anytime you come in contact with coins or gems, you begin to weep blood for 1d4 minutes. The curse ends if you are subjected to a remove curse spell or if you forsake your worldly possessions and live a life of ancestry for a year and a day.
As one is
Yeah,
prone
that
to
sounds like
doing, I
something a
suppose.
merchant would sell.
I love it. It's
As a
dumb.
Even if he could sell it, you're literally obligated to refuse it.
How about this? What class are you? What class are you? Sorry, Santa.
Frighter is a rune fighter.
And what's that part of?
He's a fighter.
Oh, fighter. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it, that one counts for sorcerer, not fighter. What's a good thingy for that? Let's see. Okay. There are a fancy pair of boots in the back. And as
You'll take them.
Okay, as you look at them, they do seem to have little wings at the top.
Mm. He'll take them, look at them. What are these?
Those, my fine sir, are winged boots.
I see. What do they do? I imagine they fly?
They let you fly.
Ah, wonderful. Here's the issue. He stomps in the snow with one of his hooves.
Since they are magic boots, sir, they will change to match the wearer.
Alrighty, how much?
They are. Going off the same prices per same prices. Jesus fucking Christ. How does this justify this price? Aside from it saying sanity category game changing.
What is the price?
8,000 gold.
Fright looks at them, looks at the boots, looks at them.
That's what it says per same prices. I don't get that one myself. Because I can't find anywhere where it says it for the actual fucking cost.
8,000 gold for the ability to fly.
Does it say 8,000? Sorry, bit of smudging there on our record sheets. We'll just wipe it. Because I am not charging 8,000 for winged boots. That is dumb.
I would.
Fright pays the 8,000.
I absolutely was.
5,000.
5,000 for boots that let you fly.
Indeed.
He puts the boots back on the cart, looks at the man. Do you wish to fly often?
Personally, I like to keep my feet on the ground, hence why they're for sale.
Exactly. And he will walk off now, disinterested in the cart, also because I have to go BRB again.
Fair. So I guess the last person we need to ask is Mariah. Is there anything you want to buy here aside from the owlbear?
She'll have a quick peep. Hear that it's 5,000 gold for those fucking boots because she was kind of interested in those boots. So she was like, "Fuck off with those boots."
Do you not have anything you wish to sell to try and lower the price?
So, give me a second. Oh fuck's sake! Why did it take me off the game?
This is where Mariah just sells the gun that she got from the Sentinels. But this one I've not been hitting with, have it? Don't like it. You have not been writing down a lot. Either have not been giving you a lot of items, or you have not been writing down a lot of items. That's weird. So just going over your sheet to help you out. So for some reason you have 2 scimitars.
Yeah, I don't know when I got those 2 scimitars, but it did happen. I do remember getting scimitars.
You also do have the light crossbow, which you have not really been using, given you actually have guns.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
And if you really wanted to try, you do still have the key amulet for Fresh's lair with the giant ruby in the middle.
Oh yeah, she's gonna put forward the amulet and be like, I've got this. This is a nice piece of jewelry that I found. Well, got.
Okay. Let's have a quick appraisal of this. Okay. We could knock some price off of that for this, yes. The old lady is actually going to have a nosy. Old lady just kind of grabs the guy's side hood, just brings him down, whispers something to him. And his eyes just kind of light up. He's like, we can sell you the boots for 1,000.
1,000? That works.
Yep, so you hand over the amulet with the ruby, earn 1,000 gold, and now you have winged boots and therefore can fly.
Lovely. Lovely.
I have given the worst person the ability to fly. I have 120 foot range. I'm going 120 foot up in the air above the person.
I'm just imagining the conversation this group of people is going to have after we part ways.
So here comes the interesting part now. And I hate to do this to you, Mariah. I hate to be evil. As you're about to grab the boots off the back, you see an item. You see something just rocking back and forth in the back of the caravan.
Oh no, what is it?
It's an egg.
God damn
Egg.
it! No, don't do this to me. This is technically third time this is happening.
The guy will come over and be like, he'll just look at you, look at the egg, look at you. And then just reach over, pick the egg up off what's a frying pan. Just seems to be a large boiled egg. He'll be like, there we go, food's ready.
Oh.
I had to trick you there, Mariah. It's not an Albert egg. It's
Mariah.
Mariah's going to.
She's holding them and she's like, they're eating the baby Albert.
Baby Albert? No. This is an eagle egg.
Oh, eat it then. I don't care. She stops crying.
If that was actually an owlbear egg, I feel like Mariah would use those boots without prejudice.
Mariah uses the boots to
More
grab
so
the egg and fly
beautiful.
off. Just. But yes, you've got yourself some winged boots.
Yes.
Should be noted that the winged boots gives you a flying speed equal to your walking speed. You can use them to fly for up to 4 hours all at once or in several shorter flights, as long as the minimum is a minute. If you're flying and the duration expires, you descend at a rate of 30 feet per round until you land.
Jesus.
Well, at least it has a parachute built in.
Pretty much. So.
All right. My turn.
Yes.
Alekxander, having watched every single other member of the party meticulously search for this car, is like, very well. Better have a look, huh?
Didn't think you'd be the type to actually look for our wares, given how your god normally views his brother, but...
Oh, Alekxander. Despite Alekxander's beliefs, Alekxander doesn't really get too much into this whole religious war nonsense.
That is fair. If you're after some good stuff here, we can see you're despite not being too much of a religious person, we do see that there is some holiness there. Let's see if we can find anything that helps with that. Given that it feels like each time I try and give you stuff, it leans more towards the barbarian end.
Alekxander, has many powers in the name of Waffleberg. He just doesn't really reach over into this religious war thing. Let's get that straight.
Well, just out of curiosity, what are you planning at the moment? Like, you seem to be off somewhere.
Alekxander must rescue wife.
Okay.
Alekxander does not have as much money as some of the other members of party have been throwing around.
That's
He
fine.
checks his pockets. He's like, I've got about 30 platinum, about 70 gold pieces, I think. I have a couple of items to trade. You're not 100% familiar with their worth. And he will slap down in front of him 1 oil of slipperiness. And just like, Alekxander vaguely recalls bringing this out of some godforsaken dungeon belonging to some god of the depths.
So,
But Alekxander has no use for this magical lube.
so you're going to try and break your wife out of somewhere, if I'm hearing correctly, yes?
As he's bringing out the entirety of a discarded crystal from the Shallow Isles. He's like, this is very pretty. Surely it's worth something.
Uh,
Can't believe
just
I saw a crystal from that place.
just let me know, friend. How good are you at sneaking around?
Alekxander is not dreadful, but it's not his style particularly, so he's not particularly good at it, I suppose.
And if you're trying to sneak in somewhere, you may want a bit of help. In that case, for those crystal shards right there, because they are quite pretty indeed, and for that oil, I think I've got something that may be able to help you out. And he will produce a fancy looking cloak, which seems to be made of leaves. Just
Kuiper,
woven together.
look at this. What is it?
It's just like, let me consult my friend. Oh,
No!
It's a rope.
you can make an Arcana yourself if you want, Alekxander. I doubt you're going to get worse than that one.
Zero.
I mean, it's
I mean, in my game, it'd be identical, so,
yeah. I'm gonna be honest here. Potoo, Mariah, Porcelain Lady, would either of you like to help out with an Arcana here? As
Sure.
whenever Kuiper gets an extremely puzzled look as he looks at magic item and can't tell, it's a bad sign. So
number green.
all
I'll
three
try a hand.
all 3 of them, as they just woke up, all 3 of them in unison just go, it's a cloak of elven kind.
Alekxander is perplexed. Alekxander isn't elf. How is this helpful?
When you wear this cloak, people will find it harder to spot you, and you'll find it easier to sneak around, essentially put. Outer game wise, when you wear it with the hood up, perception checks made to see you have disadvantage, and you have advantage on stealth checks made to hide. As basically, those leaves will shift colour to whatever you're hiding in or against.
Alekxander is going to take a moment to think about how Waffleberg would feel about him using stealth rather than sheer violence.
Waffleberg would pretty much have a case of, you're sneaking around to do this. That's fine as long as you're planning to then leap out of the shadows to hit them in the back. He would also probably have the thought of, are you using this to save your wife, who is also a follower of the Waffleberg? That is fine. Rescue my followers.
He'll look at it and go, I shall keep this in mind, but do you have anything a little more direct?
Anything more direct, sir? Let's see what we've got here. Well, how about this? You seem to be the quiet person here that, well, we already know you're a follower of the Volley. And as such, You do probably like your lightning and thunder damage, yes?
We said, this is not an element that Alekxander has particularly used, all things considered. What have you got?
Well, we've got this. And they'll pull out what seems to be a large horn. But at the end, where the noise will come out of, it is shaped like the Volibear's head.
Oh, Alekxander's probably already sold, but do continue.
This is, if you would like to make an Arcana first, actually. In fact, I believe you may have encountered one of these things before the party. So, with advantage, you may roll an Arcana. Because this does seem highly familiar. Jesus Christ.
I'm not surprised. It is a flat 0.
I mean, yeah, but it just seems like you've had the worst rolls today.
Fucking hell.
Kuiper. This is a horn of blasting.
Anyway, I started blasting.
I'm going to stand away and cover my ears.
You can use an action to speak the horn's command word and then blow the horn, which emisses a thunderous blast in a 30-foot cone that is audible 600 feet away. Each creature in the cone must make a DC 15 con save. On a fail save, they take 5d6 thunder damage and are deafened for a minute. On a successful save, they take half as much damage and aren't deafened. Creatures and objects made of glass or crystal have disadvantage and take 10d6 thunder damage instead of 5d6. Each use of the horn's magic has a 20% chance of causing the horn to explode. The explosion deals 10d6 fire damage to the blower and destroys the horn. But yes, as soon as Kuiper's identified it, he's just backed away, just like, oh no. Oh no.
He's like
Alekxander.
presses his ears down like...
loud
So
noises.
what does this one do?
Essentially, Pat, you say the magic word, you blow into this, anything that's within range, as long as they don't have a mighty iron constitution there, is gonna take some serious damage. Thunder kind of damage, I hope you understand. Especially if they're made of crystal or glass. Like, I can't stress this enough. They will shatter. There is a slight downside, but it's just a due to its age. But between you and me, it has a slight chance of exploding. But hey, if you near someone when it's going to explode, you may be able to take them. You get the idea.
I mean, just checking something. Give me a moment.
Okay.
Yeah, Alekxander looks at it. If he wasn't sold by its sheer utility, just the fact that it's basically a Volibear artifact is probably enough.
Yeah.
He looks at it and goes, how much do you want for it?
Well, if you're going to be throwing in those crystals, that oil, let me just see how much this. Was it a portion of something, that oil, or was it just like an oil? Oil.
It was the oil of slipperiness, which
Okay.
is a magic item.
Yes,
but-
I've got the cost there for that. Wow, really? Okay, if you say so. They will look to you. You know what? That oil right there and those crystals, that'll pay for this.
Alekxander, like, absolutely sold. And he takes horn.
Yep, you have the Horn of Blasting.
He puts his lips to it and proceeds to try and psych out the point by pretending to blow it. That's fair. That's one way to not hear it.
So,
Hang on, he's gonna make a. Oh, it's all right. He doing a good job of pretending to blow it.
Can the party roll me an insight on this? And this is going to be based off the performance roll, though. Mariah, you duck for cover. Fright, I'm going to say that's a meter beat, as I've been doing here. Potoo passes. Porcelain Lady, I believe, went BRB, and... Oh, no, Porcelain Lady. Yeah, you get behind the elbow. And Kuiper?
Inside?
Hey, yes, please.
That's a nat one.
And that one, you bury yourself in the snow.
So Alekxander brings the horn up to his lips, takes a big breath, and goes, "Oh, do you have anything else for under about 400 gold that might be of interest?"
For Potoo and for Surtr, you know that nothing would happen because he didn't say the command word first. Quite literally, if he tried to blow into that, the most you'll get is probably like the skeleton.
No, but you can speak the command word into it when you blow it. I'm not.
Is there anything else we have? Let's see.
Is he still blowing on the horn, by the way?
Just talking through it.
No, I
he-
sort of took a deep breath in, brought it to lights, and then just kept talking.
As
Bearing
he
in
does that,
mind-
Fright is just going to take a handful of snow and shove it into the horn.
Ooh.
Consider
Okay.
yourself magically neutered, son, and then walks away.
There may
Alekxander,
be
look at it and look at whoever is closest. Hang on. 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I just included myself. That's not how that works.
You look into a mirror. Aha!
Looks at Porcelain Lady, decides that she'd be a bit of a buzzkill about it. Kuiper's just about getting himself out the snow. Alekxander's gonna turn and just blow as hard as he can. Fucking snow shotgun.
It has a new ability.
It's the sort of thing that the sausage man will bake a 5 out of 5.
So,
If Waffleberg was here, he would ask to make a sound cannon out of this shit, by the way. Just want to make that very clear.
Yeah, I completely understand.
there is
Kuiper, you get a snow horn full of snow to your face.
so Kuiper, as you're just pulling yourself out of the snow, you get buried in snow. There is now a tiny snow Kuiper snowman. Just a tiny snow Yordle.
Well done. Wonderful.
We do have something else here. It may be a little bit costly, but I'm sure we could work something out.
Okay.
He will pull out what seems to be a flail. But rather than the flail having spikes coming out of it like a mace out, it's got tiny holes arranged in symbols and patterns.
It's a two-handed weapon.
I mean, I knew people in Freljord got wild, but wow.
Let me check. 5th E flail. Flails are not martial, flail, melee weapons, damage type, bludgeoning, isolated standard. Doesn't say it's two-handed.
Alekxander will just put his hand up and go, "That is a very pretty piece of equipment, but Alekxander, he's a two-handed man till he dies."
That is absolutely fair.
I only carry the javelins because I can't throw the fucking hammer. Or could I throw the hammer? It wouldn't be very effective.
Then you'd have to go fetch the hammers.
I would have to go fetch the hammer. Do you have a hammer, actually? Come to think of it. Alekxander's got a beautiful enchanted sword, a beautiful enchanted axe, and a hammer.
Just a throwing hammer that just recalls.
Not even a throwing hammer, it's just a big sledgehammer. I think I picked it up one day from some construction site.
Well, as you probably know, given that we are followers of Orn, we are very, very, very much into our hammers. For fuck's sake.
Sounds so offended by this.
I typed in Fifi hammer
Oh.
magic items to see if I could find any magic hammers. There's an article here about magic hammers called Stop Hammer Time.
Of course.
I-
Alekxander's
I
just
do-
like, to be honest, not the most filled in on your side of the religion. As I said, Alekxander doesn't really get into this whole thing.
I love that. I do have to pop though.
Okay.
Oh,
Alrighty.
Oh shit,
Bye.
Fright has just exploded. I don't think that's what he
What?
meant.
Okay, I like this. I like this item. This is from an older version of D&D, but I'm pretty sure I can get this going. They will bring out what seems to be a stone warhammer. And at first, everything seems fine with it. Except when you look at the engraving on the hilt and see two wings wrapped around each other.
go
Right.
on.
Kuiper? I know
Oh,
I've
no,
just
no,
told
no.
up some guys, but
No need for your friend to check this. I love this little thing. You see that rock just over there?
no, it's under a lot of snow, but I understand what you meant.
Just that pile there. I've just been staring for a while to make sure it doesn't move like your little friend there did when he was under the ice. He'll
It's
take
not another party member, I promise.
He will take the hammer. He will throw it. And as he does so, it looks like at first it's going to fall short, because that rock is quite far away. And then the hammer's hilt sprouts wings, and it flies towards the rock and just
I'm sorry, is this a
smashes.
throwing? Is this a throwing maul?
It's a throwing warhammer that
Oh, it's a
teleports
throwing
itself.
goal.
That once
No.
it hits the thing, it comes back to you.
You have a pet hammer.
It's sentient.
Alekxander will look at it and go, again, it is very nice, but it's just a little too small for my hands.
Like, let me just throw the picture that it gives of this into D&D chat, because this is amazing.
Alekxander will bring out his maul and be like, he needs to be more about this size if I'm going to buy a hammer.
All right, let's see. Bigger hammers, bigger hammers. I get you. Oh, God.
Oh no.
I've just found one here that is essentially what happens if we give a hammer to Mariah and or Waffleberg. There's a hammer that's also a 6-shooter that fires off fireballs.
Oh my goodness.
Oh no.
Oh my god. How
I
much
already
does
have
that
it in my
cost?
inventory.
Kuiper's just over
I want a
trying
maul that
to-
fires fireballs. Hang on, hold up.
6 times per day you can fire off a fireball that does double damage to cold using a cold dwelling creatures. What the
Hold
fuck?
a minute. That is perfecto for where we're fucking going. Slow your horses.
A
Stop the
bit too
cavalry.
perfecto.
Okay, I need to get off this page because this seems to be the broken hammer page. Because there's also a carpenter's mallet that gives anyone that wields it the cloud giant strength and can throw boulders, as well as cast power word kill once per week, as long as you hit something. But it's got a curse on it where you essentially become a chaotic good alignment and you can't resist any adventure or good cause.
I'm sorry. Power word kill
No,
on a weapon
I'm
is
gonna
the
end up
most
becoming chaotic
anime
lads.
king
I'm gonna
thing
go on
ever.
every adventure. That's a massive change for my character.
You just
Oh,
embed this
no.
hammer in something's head and just say die and it just explodes.
Okay,
That's so anime.
we do have this hammer here. This is a bit more of a utility hammer, but it's still large enough for you to use as the big smashy hammer. In fact, I believe this is what the kids say a +2. On top of that, it seems to have a bit of Orn in it itself. It just helps out with just smithing in general.
Put this
It-
hand on it. It's fine. Alekxander was not a smith. It would be a little wasted on him.
Oh, no. There's more.
But wait,
If you
there's
attack
more.
constructs with this thing, any hit that lands is a critical hit.
Well, it's just a giant mace of smiting.
It's just called Hammer of the Smith. It also allows you to cast Mending 3 times a day.
Just looks at the rest of the party and goes, "We've been here before. Do you remember how many constructs they really have? I don't seem to recall them having constructs, but you might have better knowledge."
They don't really have construct that. What the I just tried to find stuff that isn't legendary.
It's fine if you can't find anything. You're not obligated to find me stuff. He'll ask Alexander will ask how much it is, but he's a little bit like, he's a little bit clearly more on the less interested side.
For which one?
For the hammer, the newest one, the smithing hammer.
Oh yes. No, I was just reading that one out loud. Oh no, wait,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I've read it in character-wise as well. Now shit. This will be around 8,000 gold, unfortunately. I think that might be a bit out of your price range.
He'll just put his hand up and go, "Do you have anything else? If you don't have weapons, that's fine."
For a bit on the lower side, we do actually have one.
Oh?
You'll pull out a Warhammer. This Warhammer, just basic stats of a Warhammer, but it does have lightning streaks going down it. Essentially put, this thing, two-handed Warhammer.
Two-handed Warhammer, huh?
Yes. Once per day, let's make it twice per day.
Alright.
You say the command word. This thing allows you to cast lightning bolt.
Okay.
Figure that goes in with the whole Volibear theme as well that you seem to have going.
It's a two-handed hammer.
Yes.
Warhammer. Does that mean it has the Warhammer versatile stats, or does that make it a maul?
Essentially treats it as a maul.
Right, because mauls are fantastic for me. You must understand.
Treat it as a maul.
Because of course, with Great Weapon Fighter, I get to reroll 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
So 2d6.
Treat it as a maul.
Yeah.
Twice a day, shoot lightning. Lightning bolt. And its cost is not that high, oddly enough. They will look to you. I would say, given the business that we've already done as well, this is going to cost you... How many? Let's say those 30 platinum pieces.
Alexander will take a single coin pouch from out of his like, I don't want to call it a kilt, but you get the fucking idea.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. It's a fucking skirt. And he's like, "They're all in here. Have them if you wish."
And pleasure doing business. And I am going to say, before you do walk away and such, given it is coming up to 3 hours recording, we are going to end it there because
What's the weapon called again?
What, sorry?
What's the weapon called again?
This is going to be called, because this is what I've just made up off the top of my head.
Molnir.
You know what? Fuck
that
it.
now.
Yes, Molnir.
Makes you sad.
But we are going to end it there because I don't want Dion missing out on a chance of potentially getting some other stuff or selling some of her stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
But I will
Very
end
fair.
it with one thing. Someone that has already taken off their robe reaches into the back of the caravan, walks over to you all, and hands you all a warm jug. Like sealed at the top with a cork. For the
A warm
travels, it's free for the customers. Don't worry about it.
I'd make you pissed.
Much appreciated.
So how many times can I cast this lightning bolt?
Twice a day.
Twice a day. Fuck me. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
So, for those that would investigate what is the contents of this, they would find it to be hot soup.
I'll just replace my discarded crystal with soup.
Yep. And to be fair, the guy that is giving these to you doesn't look Freljordian. In fact, if he was still here, Fright would recognize him to be Demacian. And that is where we're going to end it for this week.
Question for you after we're done.
A wild Demacian has appeared.
No, because quite literally in Ornn's followers now, there is the combat cook, who he's dual type. He's both from the Freljord, but he's also from the Demacia. So he's a Demacian cook that kind of went, yeah, no, I'm going to follow Ornn now. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Dark Tides of Runeterra. Don't forget to check out Sirens Through the Fog, a City of Mist game.
Sirens through the mist.
Fuck's sake. A City of Mist game run by our friend Santa.
You just stop. You can't. You're not allowed to plug people. You never get it right. Fuck it, I'll do it.
I did plug them. I got it correct.
Goddamn City of Mist. It's like what we do, but with slightly less chaos, slightly more Santa, and probably, just probably, like maybe some D&D in there. Like
it's a Cities of Mist one, but yeah. It also has 100% more thread. Also, check out Echoes of the Past, a game run by Chocobo. Yes.
You sure? Double sure.
Yes, but stop making me doubt myself.
I'm sorry, but are you definite?
I hate you right now because you have got me actually opening up friggin' YouTube in another tab just so I could scroll through and be like, am I sure? Am I sure? Echoes of the Past, I am sure.
But are you positive?
It's right in front of me.
But are you completely sure that isn't that like
This is when
typo?
Alexander's hammer gets stolen by a giant ass creature and flies away with it.
Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the Dark Tides of Runeterra, which I am absolutely sure about.
Time on the Tides of Fate, because that's definitely this game now, because Lee's wrong. Goodbye!
No, the game is now called Cafe.
No. Behave.
Cafe Martinez. You know, if I were still editing these videos, I would have put that face in here just secretly somewhere.